we're living in a culture where everybody believes, do whatever you want. It's your life. Yeah, that is true. It is your life. But the goal, as my father always says, the goal is to get old. That's the goal. I don't know who want to just check out of here early and you knew that you had a hand in it. If you're going to take me out, you got to know that I didn't do it to myself. And I think that that's the part that we've got to wake up and realize that it's not just about vanity. It's about our sanity. It's about the wellness of our children. It's about changing the trajectory of our families. That's what it's about. So when we get well, our communities get well. When we get well, the household gets well. When we get well, our classrooms get well. But if we're not taking the necessary steps and precautions to do that, if we're all living by this YOLO mentality, that you only live once and at least I'm going to die happy, well, you're going to die happy, but you're going to die early.
Hey, entrepreneurs, this is Connie S. 𝗕𝗆𝘆 and the S is for Systems. I want to thank you for coming to our LifeSystems podcast today. We have another amazing, brilliant, beautiful, wonderful, fine guest with shiny legs, honey. Hey, Brandy, Harvey, how you doing?
Hello.
It's so nice to see you today, looking fabulous as always.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to sit on this side of the microphone. I'm actually really like, ooh, what's about to happen?
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
So tell me about what you got going on. Tell me about you first. Who are you?
I love that. Who are you? I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a teacher. I'm a podcast host. I'm a talk show host for sure.
I like that.
I'm an executive producer of a wellness documentary. I'm a wellness advocate. I'm all things excellence for Black people. Yeah.
I love the way that you worded that. Why does excellence resonate with you?
Man, because Marsha is my mother. So listen, people know Steve is my father, but Marsha is my mother. And so excellence was ingrained in us, from childhood, from the type of elementary school I went to middle school, the women in my churches, the people that I was around. It was about doing things in excellence. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so I believe that. And so I set that standard for myself. And so I just like to do things in excellence. I don't always get everything right? But I do it to the best of me,
Even if you fall short of excellence, you're still great.
Baby, wipe me down. Wipe me down.
So
yeah.
Living in that level of excellence, and I know you talked about your mom and your father, but living in that level of excellence, tell me about how you went from just focus on that to getting into wellness, because most people are like, I am excellent. I have the money, I have the looks, I have this, I have all the things. Oh, goodness. But when it comes to that transition into caring about wellness, that's a different journey. Where'd that come from?
19 years old. I tell the story all the time. 19 years old. I was a sophomore at Hampton University. I went to visit my father in LA for spring break. And he said, oh, my fluffy girls. And I'm like, to my sister Carly, we're twins. And I said, fluffy? Like, what he mean by fluffy? I was like, you think he calling us fat? And Carly was like, I don't even care. And I was like, yeah, but I kind of do. And I went back from spring break and I started working out. And I started doing 45 minutes on the elliptical machine. And Carly was there with me. But every time we would get done, we would high five each other and then we would go have milkshakes. You know what I'm saying? But that was the point that I started moving my body. And then by the time I was 22 and graduated from college, I had become a certified spin instructor, moved out to LA. My first job, the first 2 weeks, was working for Bally Total Fitness. I was a spin instructor. And then that led to me working at other gyms and becoming a personal trainer, fitness competitor when I moved to Atlanta. So I feel like those were those markers that really got me started on my journey. So by the time I was 25 and I was a fitness competitor, these are just all the things that have, laid the foundation for who I am as a 40-plus-year-old woman,
And we see it, girl. You look good.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. I say this though. I get up every single morning to go lift hard things. I start my day off lifting hard things, heavy things. And so because I start my day that way, everything else feels like, it feels easy the rest of the day. I got the hard stuff out the way in the morning. And so I believe in that. But it was really because Honestly, my trainer, shout out to Rock Shabazz over at Rock Fitness. He told me at 25 years old, he said, why you train muscle, like why you build muscle in your body, why you lift weights. And he said it keeps the skin tight. It keeps the elasticity to the body. It makes you remain more youthful. And I heard that at 25 years old. So I've been lifting weights for the last, 17 years.
Nobody ever told me that.
I'm telling you, and I tell people now, and then they're like, man, it makes sense. So you see like all these like now Instagram reels of like women as you age, you should lift weights and all this thing. I'm glad I got that and laid that foundation, at 24, 25 years old, training with Rock, and he's still my trainer to this day.
Wow.
He's still the man he's a master. Like if you got the master of the dojo, you stick with the master. I don't need to go get the mentee when I got the master. Come on, so I train with the master. Yeah.
I love that. So all these years, because this is a journey now, a wellness journey that you've had. What has been the hardest part of maintaining that?
The hardest part is not the physical. The hardest part is the mental, the emotional, because it's one thing, and I had to learn this along the way, it's one thing to get your body right. It's another thing to get your mind right, and it was, I had the body part down, right? I got up and I worked out and I made the commitment to go to the gym. But when I had to make that emotional commitment to therapy, when I had to go face myself, when I had to go do the real hard things of like digging up all the old stuff and then unlearning some of the old stuff and then, unearthing some of the old stuff. Yeah, that was the real game changer. Because the physical is never as hard as the mental, because now I got to go deal with some stuff that I planted and other people planted,
That I just got to lean into that for just a second, because I don't. My heart is about mental health, mental wellness. That means a lot to me, because no matter how much money you have, no matter how good you look, if your mind isn't working and you don't feel good when you wake up, and no matter what you see in the mirror, it is not the reflection of who you are. You're still gonna feel bad. So when you say unearth some things, because we're trained to just put it in the, I don't want to think about that. Just put that away. Yeah. When you have to go back and do the work to unearth, what was that journey like?
I started that journey in 2016 after years of being told, you grew up in the church, you pray about it. You pray about it and you shout about it and you run about it and you do all the things and you jump up and down about it. And then at some point you're really going to have to do some work about it, and in 2016 when I met my therapist and I really started that journey of therapy, I was 33 years old, and so I wasn't some little girl. So it was a whole lot of unearthing I had to do. But that part, of the journaling, of the being by myself, of going to get quiet, of, pushing myself to do a silent meditation retreat, all of those things, really helped me unlearn along the way. That along the way, I learned that I wasn't, that I was worthy, because I had to unlearn that I wasn't worthy enough, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't special enough, that it was something about me that wasn't quite right. And so I think that was the hardest part to unearth.
Did the word enough come from the world or did it come from you?
I think most of it comes from us. It's from the story we tell. It's from the picture we paint, because half the stuff that we be worried about, other people really ain't even thinking about, ain't thought about, don't care about. But we have kind of made these stories and we, run the story. And so I just wanted to create a new story. I just wanted to write a new script because I knew I had that power. And when I started to change my mind, no matter all the things that I had read in my 20s, all the things that I experienced, it was something about being 33 years old, and I had made this list of 33 things to do for 33, right? I did this list, and one of the things that I said on the list was, and I implore anybody to really do this, right? Write a list for whatever trip this is, do that list of that number of things. And there's small things, but one of the things that I did at 33 was learn a way to wear my natural hair, right? And I went to the hair salon and I was getting braids. Everybody knew me for braids. Brandy with the braids, you know, and my sister always got the short haircut. And I went and got some braids, and the girl who does my braids was also a loctician, and she said, "Man, I had a dream about you. I had a dream you got some locks." And I was like, "Really?" And I said, "I kind of thought about it." And she said, "Would you ever think about locking your hair?" And I was like, "You know what? Let's just do it the next time I come in." So a few weeks later, when I took the braids out, I came back in. She said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Let's lock it up." And it was June the 2nd of 2016. My birthday is August. So right before, I'm coming around that corner for the last time, I made the decision to lock my hair. And I tell that story because that was one of the things I had to unearth. And my hair was one of the things. Like, you're a Black woman with hair, right? So we go through all these experiences with our hair. And I remember being a little girl and like being told my hair was too thick and it was too nappy, and, "Oh, girl, your hair too difficult to deal with," and all the things. And I made all these decisions about my hair along the way. And this was one of the things that, kind of gave me that push over the edge that I was enough, that I was worthy. And I know people are like, "It was just your hair though." But when you lock your hair, anybody who ever done a lock journey?
I don't have my locks in today, y'all. I took my locks down.
If anybody starts a lock journey, just know you about to come to grips with who you really are.
Especially the first months.
Listen, the first 2 years, you are literally like, "What the hell did I do to my hair?" Because they go through this phase of like, one be sticking up, it's wow, they call it the teenage phase or whatever. And so, I went through that. But growing my locks was like one of those things that kind of made me fall in love with myself.
That's so beautiful, because we as Black women and the trauma that we have with our hair,
man,
and learning how to fall in love with it, especially once you get out of the creamy crack era.
Oh, listen, it's a traumatized burn in this head, right? Trauma.
It looks so good after, and it'd be so straight.
It'd be so straight.
And also, I know that this journey, just even thinking like that's one of the things to unearth, because most people don't think, "Oh, my hair." Stephanie, who is over there, also has the same kind of hair journey of like, I want it to be this. I need to make this. I need to have this product that could help. So I understand how much it impacts us as Black women. And people don't think that that's something that I'm going to talk to a therapist about my hair, but no, that's a part of our journey.
I mean, it was one of the things, right, that I was, but it was also the abandonment issues. It was the, the father wound, the deep father wound of I know who my father is, and yes, we have a relationship, but there was a time when there was a lot of absence, right? And so there's a lot that you have to kind of grapple with that, and feeling worthy enough, and not feeling loved, and feeling rejected, and not feeling like you are special enough or good enough or worthy enough. And so it was a lot of that had come to the surface. Yeah.
I think that's such a beautiful part of the journey, is one being aware of it. Yeah. Because that's, first of all, many people aren't self-aware. One of the things we talked about earlier was emotional intelligence, and everybody doesn't have that level of emotional intelligence and self-awareness to say, "I have to go and talk to somebody."
Oh, yeah.
Was there something that happened that you said, "No, let me go ahead and book me a therapist today"?
Yeah, I was triggered when text messages come through and you about to lose your shit, and you about to lose your mind over some text. Oh yeah, babe, we got to go sit down. We need
go talk to the lady.
Today is the day. Today is the time. And I remember I had met my therapist in January at an event. And she stood up in the audience, and I was like, it was kind of like love at first sight. I was like, "That's my therapist. Oh my God, that is who I've been praying about." But I didn't call her. You know how it is. You meet somebody, you like, I kind of think I'm in love.
I love it a little bit. I ain't finna call right
but
now.
I ain't about to call you, And so, so I finally called her, and I remember the first time I went, and I do tell this story a lot. I went the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that was good. I felt good about that." And then so the next time when I had the session, I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I need to go. Like, I think I'm good. I think I'm healed. I'm healed." After one set, I said, I don't think I need to be telling her my business like that. Oh. And I called to cancel, and she said, "Yeah, but I'm still gonna have to charge you that $150 because you didn't cancel within 24 hours. I said, well, let me see if I can try my best to get there. Hold on, let me see if
I'm on the way. I'll be there shortly.
You know what? I think I'm going to be able to make it.
Crazy. Schedule got mad free.
Found an opening. I'm getting
way.
charged anyway.
Yeah.
Let me go.
You're going to help me during this $150
You're going to go.
session.
And the thing she told me when she got there, she said, I can't help what I don't know. We're going to have to trust each other in this process. And I just remember like the word trust each other was like, it like slapped me in the face. Like, oh, I got to trust you. Oh, ooh. I don't want to trust you right now, but I think I'm gonna have to trust you. Yeah.
That's one of the hardest relationships to really bond a therapist because you have to tell them the truth in order for them to help you. But I don't want to say all the things because secretly I don't want to be judged. And then I'm also kind of public facing. So I don't, who you finna tell? Who you married to?
Exactly. And so you really do have to think about that. And this is Atlanta and it's like, all the things. And I just knew my discernment, my intuition was just like, she's the person because she also felt very trustworthy. Right. And then I knew people who knew her.
There you go.
And I never knew who she worked with.
See?
So that was it. Yeah.
Trust. Oh, such a scary, scary, scary word.
Yeah.
So I know that's been a part of the journey and getting into therapy, which is the curriculum. I've been in therapy since I was 11. So
which is so good. It's good, and it's also hard when you're very self-aware. Where you're like, oh, the reason that you feel like this is because and I also know that you feel this way because and your heart wound is and so my mind processing this while you're just telling me, or you're angry about the day, or you got into I get to diagnose because I've been in therapy for so long. But also realizing that as you grow older, it's going to be new stuff. Something else is going to come up and you're like, oh, I'll probably need to talk to a non-judgmental person about whatever I'm feeling right now. So I know the therapy part has been a journey because I've been on that one with you. So when we get back to wellness, because we talked about the mind, we've talked about the heart, we talked about the body. Yes, body is bodying. Let's get into sisters getting well. How did we transform from the physical, the mental, the heart? How do we transform into sisters getting well? To now doing a wellness documentary, like award-winning. I have to say this, Connie.
Please, go off.
Listen, award-winning documentary about Black women being well in the world. Like I mean, I can't make this up, But shout out to my partner, Jacqueline Glass. She and I have known each other for 14 years this year. I started off being a speaker at her At the Well 2-week leadership conference for Black girls at Princeton University 14 years ago. But Jacqueline Glass, we've known each other for 14 years, and I started speaking at her At the Well conference 14 years ago. And I saw when she got on her wellness journey, and at one point she asked me like 2 times to be her coach. And I was like, no, I'm not really into that, like coaching people, right? I said that. And so, but she and I have been working together not only at the girls program, but then we started partnering to bring a wellness documentary, a wellness retreat out the country to St. Martin. So we did St. Martin for 2 years. We did Jamaica last year. And this was all about Black women getting well, and movement being medicine, and breath work, and making time for meditation and quiet time, and all these things that we're teaching. And her journey just really sparked into us, working together to bring this documentary, Sisters Getting Well. And so we've won the Montreal Black Film Festival for Best Short, Las Vegas. We premiered it at the Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles. We'll be at the Bronze Lens Film Festival in Atlanta. We won the Hamilton Black Film Festival up in Toronto. And so international documentary, just
come on with the hair, get the lock flip in there. Get the lock flip on the screen, please.
Listen, and that's what the beauty of this is like, I didn't expect my work to be like going in this way. But it's been a beautiful, beautiful ride because really we get to highlight and really sound the alarm that chronic illness and disease is killing Black women in the United States at an alarming rate.
Why? Why is that?
It's lifestyle. It's stress. It's generational trauma. It's environment. It's all of the things that play. It's food. It's no movement. It's not getting the proper nutrition, but also not feeling safe to do that. It's all of those things. And so with 80% of Black women in the United States being either overweight or obese, right? And the statistics are true, right? By the year 2050, 40% of African Americans will no longer be here due to chronic disease. Cardiologist Kim says that in our documentary. And I think if that doesn't get us to wake up, that we have got to eat well, that we got to give a damn, we got to move our bodies. If that doesn't get us to wake up, that our wellness is really a revolutionary act, we are going to kill ourselves. No one's going to kill us. We're going to kill ourselves off. And so I think my position on wellness now is that it is a revolution, right? It's revolutionary for Black women to be well. When you talk about the mental health burden in this country and around the world, by the year 2030, 18% of the world's health burden will be mental illness. If we're not eating well and making sure our mind is well, if we're not moving our bodies, we are going to lay down and we are going to die, and we're going to do it at the hands of us shoveling food in our mouths.
All I could think about was Chick-fil-A in that moment. But because that's and who's telling us not to?
No one, right? No one's telling us, because we're living in a culture where everybody believes, do whatever you want. It's your life. Yeah, that is true. It is your life. But the goal, as my father always says, the goal is to get old. That's the goal. I don't know who want to just check out of here early and you knew that you had a hand in it. You see, I'm not, if you're going to take me out, you got to know that I didn't do it to myself. And I think that that's the part that we've got to wake up and realize, that it's not just about vanity. It's about our sanity. It's about the wellness of our children. It's about changing the trajectory of our families. That's what it's about. So when we get well, our communities get well. When we get well, the household gets well. When we get well, our classrooms get well. But if we're not taking the necessary steps and precautions to do that, if we're all living by this YOLO mentality, that you only live once and at least I'm going to die happy, well, you're going to die happy, but you're going to die early.
I'm sorry, what was that? What was that last part?
You're going to die happy, but you're going to die early. I mean, like we look at a culture where we are constantly being fed, people eating on camera. Nothing's wrong with that. I love some of the video. Hey, y'all, I love them. You know what I'm saying? I'm entertained. You know what I'm saying? But I also, when I'm entertained, I'm also like, yo, now I'm getting scared, because there's no way. You don't see a centurion, right? You don't see a 100-year-old morbidly obese person. Name me somebody who's 600 pounds that made it to 100. Name me a 500-pounder that made it to 100 years old. It's kind of hard to carry that amount of weight for that amount of time. The body is eventually going to give out on itself. And we think that, I know Instagram got us fooled out here, because you can go Dr. Miami you a body, and you can go down to Colombia, get you some new teeth, and you can go down to Turkey, get you a hairline and a nose and all these things. They not passing out no new bodies. They're really not. Like, the vitality of our body, is important to the longevity of our life. And so if we want to be here, we want to see our children, we want to see our grandchildren, we are going to have to make some radical changes. And that starts by understanding that you have to move your body every single day. You eat every day. You're going to have to move your body every day. It's a hard one. I know it is sometimes. And I want people to know, because I know I came in here and sprayed the place, right? I know I'm gonna put it up, okay? Just know it's a chopper. Okay?
It's a chopper. It's not a salad chopper either.
It's not a 22, okay? It's a chopper, and I know it's hard, but the numbers. When we talk about heart disease, when we talk about stroke, when we talk about cancer, the numbers are not lying. The numbers are showing that we have to make some radical lifestyle changes.
Why do we struggle with that as a culture?
It's hard. I mean, we got post-traumatic slave syndrome. We ain't talking about PTSD, like stress, that too. Like, we got the stress and we got post-traumatic slave syndrome, you know? So we're hyperly vigilant. We're always on edge. We're always clenched a little bit, waiting for what's about to happen, because in our DNA, we didn't know what was about. We had to always be on guard. At any moment, your children can be stolen from you. At any moment, your loved one could be lynched, could be killed, could be murdered. All of those things are in our DNA. So we're not going to act like that doesn't exist, because it does. And it's in the bloodline of us, right? And so in order to reverse some of that, in order to combat all of that trauma that we've experienced for generations in this country, it requires us to be the ones to make the steps. And so that's why you move your body every day. And it's not to be something that you don't like to do. It's something that if you love to dance, dance. If you love to go play pickleball, go play pickleball. You love boot camp, go do boot camp. Whatever it is, you love taking nature walks, go do that. But you are going to have to move your body every single day. We know that a plant-based diet is going to help elongate your life. Okay, you don't have to eat, nobody's saying that you have to go vegan. No, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's what you have to do. I'm saying that you're going to have to eat more fruits and vegetables, that your plate can't be beige. Your plate can't be beige all the time, because you got the bread and the fried and the potato. Like, that's your every meal beige.
The fact that you said beige, I've never heard. Not beige though.
Beige, and you got to put life in to get life out. You got to put it in. So we know that when we put in those fruits and vegetables, we know that we drinking the water. You drinking some coconut water. You drinking the fresh, juices. You're eating the salads. You're eating those things, the sweet potatoes and the okra and all the things that our ancestors ate. All the things that our ancestors grew. You eating more of that, you're gonna have a better quality of life.
Why the chicken gotta be so good when it's fried with lemon pepper?
I know.
Listen,
I used to listen. When I moved here to Atlanta, I had gave up chicken, and I moved to Atlanta 17 years ago. I got me some lemon peppers though. I was all flats. I was all flats fried hard.
So it's so
lemon
good.
pepper. I got the garlic parmesan, the hot, the mild, the spice. Well, all of them. I did them all. I got the peach drink. Why is it peach? Listen, so all the things. Yeah. But I understand that, in order for me to, have that get up and go about me, it's some stuff that don't make me have that get up and go, right? And I want to eat things that make me feel good. And I think most people know what makes them feel bad. Like, if we really take inventory, that ice cream gives you the bubble guts. Like, this. Like, you a wreck after you eat ice cream. Everybody in the house is a wreck because you didn't eat that ice cream. Why you keep eating that ice cream? Go get you a non-dairy version of the ice cream. Just go get the non-dairy version.
Butter pecan.
They got butter pecan in a non-dairy form. Okay. They make it with coconut milk.
Okay.
It is creamy. Get the kind that's made with coconut milk, because coconut cream is creamy. It makes things creamy. So even when you're looking for creamy things to make things creamy, that's how you can cook with coconut cream. You can cook with coconut milk. It's going to give you that creamy effect.
See, you're not taking no excuses today is basically what you're trying to
I pledged Delta Sigma Theta 21 years ago, and
go on and recite it.
Excuses are monuments of nothingness that build bridges to nowhere, and those who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothingness. Yeah, so I don't believe in the excuse. You're either going to find a way, make a way, or you're going to make an excuse. That's it. That's all that life is about. It's either you're making an excuse of why you can't, why you don't, why you won't, or you are going after that thing with full throttle, with everything that you got in you, because you're going to find a way to get it done. When we look at our lives and we think about all the things that are important to us, we found a way to get it. We found a way to do it. But so many of us have to be backed into a corner when it comes to our health. We got to be back. We got to get the diagnosis before we start saying, wait a minute, your body already was speaking to you. Your body was already knocking on the door, the constant migraines. The body was knocking at the door, the chronic pain. The body was knocking at the door, was telling you, Houston, we have a problem. But you said, nah, I would much rather go to Dubai for 10 racks. I would much rather go buy a Fendi bag. I would much rather go get me the new Gucci. I would much rather go get me that, as opposed to now I'm backed in a corner and I have no choice. Now my choice is, God gives us this place and space where we get opportunity to have multiple choices. And then you get backed into a corner and you don't have another choice. And so I would just rather us stop waiting till we get backed into the corner with the diagnosis. And then now let's start making some changes now. And imagine what we could keep ourselves from. You know, I train with women of all ages every single morning from 24 to 64. I'm training women at all ages and stages. And those 64-year-olds and us 40-year-olds, we up in there running over them 24-year-olds.
Y'all are.
We over there because you know what? We got a different understanding. We got a different understanding of, wait a minute, I only got a short time. I ain't got a long time. I got to do this thing. I got to give it everything I got. And I think that that's the mindset we have to start having, no matter where we are, no matter what age or stage we're in. I got to get this thing because I deserve this. I got to get this thing because I don't want to keep crying and complaining to somebody else and being mad and jealous at her Instagram page when I could go out here and get mine.
Give the people a word. Say something to the 24-year-old taco eaters out here. Give them a word to help prepare them for what life looks like, to be able to look like this at your age.
You know what? I don't even a word. You know what? It's discipline. You know, discipline has a look. Discipline has a feel. Discipline has an energy. And you know, I didn't get this mindset overnight. This has been years of me doing the work. This is me years of saying I want to show up as the best version of me, my best self. You know, and I think I hit that switch when I was 24 years old and made the decision to be a fitness competitor, because what I got locked in by the age of 25 was discipline is the key. Consistency is the key. I got to do this every single day. I got to repeat it day in and day out. And I learned that. early. And so now over 40, you know, about to be 42, I'm not sure when this is going to air, but, you know, it's that part of me saying to myself, I just want to be better. In 10 years, I'm going to be better than this. This is nothing. I'm look like 10 years, I'm beasting. Because I look at women who I train with every single day. One of my training partners is a 53-year-old woman. I mean, ripped down, abs down every day. Like, what's up? And then they're lifting heavy weights and up in there getting to it. And I'm saying that's what 53 looks like. When I look at a Chef Babette, who's featured in our documentary, Chef Babette, 73 years old. She was the reason why at 30 years old I decided to let me try this vegan thing. Let me try this plant-based thing. Because I saw a picture of her. She was 68 years old at the time. And she had to have been 63 at the time, 63. And I saw her in a crop top and some cut-off shorts. And I said, she's 63? Oh, I want to be wearing that when I'm 63. What's she doing? And I want to do everything she's doing. So now to know her and to have her as a friend, I mean, we was on the beach in St. Martin. I got pictures of Chef Baby. I said, no, she the real deal. I got pictures of her in her swimsuit in my phone. Listen, she bad. Like, she goals, you know, but I look at her and I'm like, that's what 73 looks like. I don't look at women who are walking around here and, you know, who are not optimal in their movement in their body. I'm not looking at that as like, oh, that's what I have to look forward to at 60 and 70 and 80 years old. I'm looking at women like that. And so they're lighting a path for me to say, wait a minute, 40, oh, I'm just getting started. This is what 30 years from now looks like? Come on now. Like, sign me up. Sign me up.
Ooh, the motivation coming through. I wasn't ready for all this. I thought we was going to talk about something else, but now I feel
we can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
No, it's fine. Now I'm all motivated. Now I got to go be a better person. I can't. Once you know better, you got to do better. Now,
That's it.
Oh, Lord. Wow, I was so excited about this pizza I was going to get after. Now I got to see if they got vegan pizza.
No,
somewhere.
you can
It's
go.
fine,
You
it's
can go
fine.
get that pizza. I'm not telling you what to
it's
eat,
fine.
right?
It's fine.
I'm telling you about. I want you to eat foods that make you feel good. So if you know that eating a pizza is about to make you feel shitty, like I just don't want you. Like, why are we gonna go eat a pizza?
I know, that's where the accountability, and now the seed is planted, and now I got to be a better person, and it's just, and then when you hear it from somebody that's in the same age group, and then I look over at them legs, and I got mine covered up, and I'm like, Lord, okay, I see what you wanted.
Listen, first of all, let me just say this, because Connie, when I walked in, I've been clocking Connie on social, so I've been following what Connie got going on. Okay, so I done already said, I told you when you came in, you look good. You look good.
I receive it coming from you.
I see it. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm gonna get into, and we'll talk offline about what this routine is gonna look like in my life, because I do absolutely receive just moving your body.
Yeah.
And I think some of us, we get into I don't have time to go. You got time. Well, I don't have this. Yeah, you spent $400 on your hair. You got a little money to go get you a track. And so those things, I say it when it comes to systems, and then I hate the hypocrisy of myself of, well, if you have money you got money for a hookah, then you got money to get somebody to help you. And I'm like, I guess I got a little money to get somebody to help me get my body.
I mean, it's a real thing. Like I've been a certified trainer, group fitness instructor. I've had a trainer, because I don't want to think about that part. I want to go in here and I want to attack. I want you to have a plan. I'm going in here to attack it. I don't want to be thinking about the plan, trying to look, what do I got to do? What do I'm looking at? No, tell me exactly. And that's what I got. I paid you for an hour. Tell me what I need to do. You the guy here. I'm showing up. Drop the damn breadcrumbs so I can get to it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what, Connie? I tell people this, and I say this all the time. 4% of your day. It's 4%. 1 hour is 4% of your day. Most people, they're willing to give the world everything they have, and you're not willing to give yourself 4%. Like, you can't tell me to go tithe and make an offering when I haven't made one to myself.
I don't have time for this. Everybody pack up. Let's get out of here, everybody. It's time to go into the house. But no, I receive everything, and I don't care if anybody else receives it. I receive this for myself.
I came here just for you today.
I appreciate it, because, man, I had all kinds of thoughts. They had Chick-fil-A earlier, and okay, we're not even thinking about the food. But I know this journey has brought you into some really dope places, including about impact. First of all, when I even looked at podcasts, yours was the first one that I looked at.
Wow,
because
that's great.
When you think of excellence, that's the word that came to our mind, is excellence. The filming, the people, the guests, your wisdom that comes along with that. I said, yes, this is, because I've been holding off on doing this for some years, and I've been getting pressured, and I was like, okay, let me finally just tell everybody I'm gonna do it. So now I'm held accountable to it. But I was like, what do I watch? What do I appreciate? Whose voice do I respect because of their wisdom? And I was like, this is what that's why I wanted to make sure that I had you a part of this, because you were a great inspiration in actually taking the action for it. So thank you for that. But tell me how that came about.
It kind of just happened, right? And nothing just happens, but Vault was actually a defunct platform. So it was under the Steve Harvey brand, and it was initially a subscriber-based platform that, they paid, they had courses and things. And so I had a course at the time. And so I went over to record for their live, a live for their audience, for the subscribers. And so when we did it, I'm over there, I'm like, I feel like, we should do like a show or something over here. Like, we got the set, we got everything. It's kind of like, let's just do it. And it kind of took a few months for that to, come about. But we started, and it has grown exponentially. In the first year, we had a 3,400% growth on this show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 1,500% in subscribers, 3,400% in watch and views on the channel. And so now from a page that had 200, like 2,000, like 2,200, 2,254 subscribers. We're over 83,000 subscribers, and then over this year, and then 229,000 views on the channel. We're now over 16 million views on the channel.
Wow. Come on, goals.
You like numbers, so I
love numbers.
I just felt like you wanted to hear some numbers.
I wanted all the numbers. Yes, because come on, sister, because that's how you measure, right? You can't say, I did better than I did last year. Run me the numbers. What are the actual numbers of what you did last year?
We've done over 16 million views in the last year.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Goals. Somebody write that on the board somewhere. Yeah. We need to put that on the list over there. Because that's what, when you're talking about building something, you want to be able to have access to the world. And that's the world. Yeah. Those are huge numbers, especially when you're just starting something out that was just sitting there waiting.
It was sitting there, and it was actually about to, like, they were pulling the plug on it, you know? And I was just like, I think we got something. I think I can do something with this. You know, it was a little, we raised it from the dead. I raised it from the dead over there. This is hands that can, you know.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
We can drop some life somewhere. Yeah, yes. And that's what we did. And I think that that's just been a testament. I think, you know, first year we got people on the show like Fawn Weaver and Lisa Price and Tristan Walker, who are great founders of companies, you know, which kind of set us at a standard and a pace. And then, you know, we got, you know, big pastors like a Dr. Jamal Bryan, and you get people like Dr. Darius Daniels to come sit down. I think it was just like, okay, we got some momentum. And I really want to say this because we talk about systems and putting things in place. David Shands, you know, shout out to David Shands. He came and did the show July 7th of 2023. He came and did the show last year. And when he came and did the show, he was like, man, what you doing with this? Like, how can I help you? And I was just like, do the interview first and then see if you want to help me. We did the interview. He says, I want to help you. Like, what are you trying to do with the show? And he came back. That was on a Friday. He came back on that Monday. We sat down with the team. He said, you have got to start being more consistent. You got to put out content every single week. You got to have reels. You got to have this. You got to cut this for the show. You got to be on all platforms. He said all this stuff. That was Q3 of last year. And by the end of Q3, top of Q4, we had our systems. We were rolling. And I think that has been, you know, I think I really give him so much props because he came at a time when I was praying for helpers, right? I was asking God, send me my helpers, send people who are going to help me build this thing because I know it. And, you know, David Shands comes on the show, and he really did, you know, impart some great wisdom into what we are doing now. And so the growth of the show, you know, he was one of those people that was really instrumental, that kind of saw something and was like, look, I think if you do this, you'll be, and we did those things.
And that's where mentorship.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to listen.
Yeah.
So you would think that, well, you don't have to listen to anybody because you may not have this, you may not have that. But when you listen to those who have done something great before you and actually have a system on how you can succeed, most folks don't always, they don't receive that. They're just like, you always trying to tell somebody what to do. Yeah. But being able to receive that, that's kudos to you, because leadership is hard. Helping people is hard. Receiving criticism or even positive feedback, all of that is hard. But when you're looking to build something bigger than you, that's the way that you handle it. You did excellent.
I mean, I appreciate that because it was really, I mean, we ask God for things, right? We be praying, God send my helpers, God, and here come the helper. And you like, that cannot be the one. That cannot be it. You know, God, like, rescue me, God. Rescue me. I sent you the life raft. I sent you the helicopter. It didn't look like what you thought.
It wasn't a pink one. You said it was going to.
Exactly. We got on our mind, and he was just really helpful. So like when I do things like the podcast summit, it really is like, you know, it's really a nod to him, you know, for like being so helpful to me. And I've said this in public, you know, many a times before. So it's not like, oh, this is Brandy. You just no, like he really is. If you want to start a podcast, he's one of those people that you should sit down and talk to.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the kudos. I love the credit. I've watched David for many, many years back when we were doing Black Wall Street Tour and going to speak to the children in the schools.
Listen.
So watching this whole journey of many of the entrepreneurs that got into the space because they started off on our Monday night calls in 2016 at 12 o'clock midnight. We got 400 entrepreneurs on a phone call. So that journey, watching him, his story about Cheesecake Factory, he worked at Cheesecake Factory with my baby brother. Yeah. So my little brother is on all the original flyers for Sleep is for Suckers. So watching, because I'm old, I get to watch the journey of so many amazing Neo.
Yeah.
I remember Neo walking through the malls with the backpack on, with the full banner on his back, selling his books by hand, and you could not say no. You had to buy a book. Even if you had one at the house, he's going to sell you another one.
Yeah.
So watching that journey and then being able to give the credit where it's due, I think that's just really beautiful. So now that we're moving, we got the Vault and Powers, we have all of our wellness, we have systems with
Getting well. Yeah.
Sisters getting well. What's next?
What's next? I think, in this season, I have in my mind where I think I want to go. But then I just leave a lot of room for God to show up and show me where I'm supposed to go. So, I'm doing a TED Talk, right? I'm getting ready to do a TED Talk. And the TED Talk, it's stretching me, and I think that when you ask God for the overflow, right? And that's my word for the year. So when you ask God for the overflow, well, you got to be stretched to handle and cover the overflow, right? And so I think I'm just, when I signed up to do a TED Talk, when I applied, I was just, and I applied like I put in an application. So don't be like, listen.
You just got in. No, I didn't.
No, I applied. I did the video application like everybody else. And, but things like that, I'm kind of bringing into my life so I can be stretched in ways, of sharing big ideas with the world and being unapologetic of sharing big ideas with the world. And I think that's probably what I'm most looking forward to in this season of my life. What's next? I know there's it's another book in there somewhere. It's another book coming.
It's another book.
It's another book in there, I'm not ready right now. I still am acquiring a lot more information, I'm still in research and development.
I received that.
Yeah, I'm still in research and development, but there's another book for sure.
Okay.
And then I think it's just what's next, I'm just really open. I'm really open to love. I'm really open to what this next chapter of my life looks like. I'm open to having new experiences that I just have never had before. And I think that's probably what's next,
A love.
Yeah.
And a book.
Yeah.
And being open to God's will.
That's a lot of birthing, right?
That's a whole lot, sis. Let me tell you.
Listen, that's a whole lot of birthing.
It's a whole lot. Trust me.
That's a whole lot of carrying and a whole lot of birthing. That's what that feels like,
It sounds like a whole lot more therapy bills because you're going to have to go back once you find this love thing. And then it shows you a mirror of who you are. And it's like, I need to work on this.
Listen, it's the mirror part.
It's the mirror for me.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to leave with us today? Any messages you feel like, aside from the fact that I should not go eat this pizza and this Chick-fil-A?
I didn't say that, y'all. She is putting all this on herself.
I'm putting it on I receive it.
She putting all this on herself.
I am.
I walk with a level of conviction that kind of makes people
I'm talking about you picked this book up and beat me over the head with it.
I just walk with a level of conviction, y'all, that it kind of make people sit up a little straighter, that's it.
Eat a little healthier, move my body.
That's it. I think that's the only message I have for people is eat well. Be mindful of the things that you put in your mouth, inside of your ear gate and your eye gate. You know what I'm saying? What you eating on every day. But that you give a damn. Give a damn about how you show up in the world. Give a damn about how kind you are to people. Give a damn about how people treat you and how you treat other people. Give a damn about that. But then move your body every single day. Move. That's a part of it.
A little bit more.
That's it. Move your body every day. That's all I got.
I receive it. Brandy, thank you for coming in here.
Thank you.
I know your schedule be tight, but I do appreciate you taking the time. I admire what you've built so far as Brandy.
Thank you.
The Harvey is cool, but you as a person, what you've built, the amount of time and effort that you've put into your own brand, not just the public-facing part that people see, but who you are as an individual. I absolutely love and adore you, and I appreciate you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Connie.
You're very welcome. And this is the conclusion of our amazing interview with Miss Brandy Harvey and her legs. We'd like to make sure that we include them separately in her name. And we thank y'all, and it'll be another episode of Life with Systems coming up. Love y'all.
Peace.